Now the glue has, excuse me, this is Charlie, this is my granddaughter's bird. Say hello to Annabelle and to Emmy. Good boy. Okay, going to be quiet now while we work. But the edges are all rough and I didn't cut them clean, because a nifty way to make this, to cut these edges off, is to use sandpaper. So it's fairly fine sandpaper, and we just sand along the edge. And it comes away nice and clean. There we are, ready for gessoing. So the next step is to heat up this leftover glue and add whiting. You can see it's just turned into jelly. So that'll be the next step, but another day. You finished? Ah. Time to start gessoing, and I've moved inside because it's freezing outside. Well, it's 4.2 degrees outside and it's 22 degrees inside, so much happier for working, but also happier for drying. Excuse me, Charlie, you can be quiet now. So we need to, I've set up in here with just get the Sunday Age organised to protect the table, and then I'll get my apron to protect me, and then we need the panels for working on, and they've all been prepared and the edges have been sanded off like I demonstrated on one of them last time. They're all ready to go. And we've got the rabbit skin glue, and we need to add whiting to that, and we need to add the same quantity of whiting as there is there. So I'm going to measure that into there. But first I'm going to heat up the rabbit skin glue so that it's not like jelly. So I'm going to do that in the microwave. I wonder if a bird will make less noise if we let him out of the cage. Okay, up you go. There you go. Now we'll just do, I think, 15 seconds at a time, so that we're making sure that this doesn't overheat. We can't go over 50 degrees. Pretty sure this will be safe. Beautiful. It's still, I can still see jelly, but I know from the feel that it's nowhere near 50 degrees, so I'm happy with that, and that will continue to dissolve. Oh, hello bird, do you want to go in the microwave too, do you? Now the whiting we'll add, we'll put it into this container, which is the same kind of container as the other one. That way I can see whether it's 1 to 1. That looks okay, doesn't it? Another spoonful. So this is chalk whiting, English whiting, and there's a speck of something that I don't want in there. That'll be good. Pop it into this mixture. I'll just check that the mixture is completely dissolved. It has, so that's happy. Some people will put this through a strainer. I'll just pop it in like this, and it's going to be fine. And just letting the liquid glue soak up through the whiting. Now while it's doing that, I'm going to put a mark on this at the same height. Okay, it's about there. Because what I want to do now, and I'll go off camera, so I'm just going to get some water, because I want to measure the volume of this mixture. Now this is something I've only just started to do. For over 15 years I've been making gesso and gessoing boards without linseed oil, because most of the recipes that I've ever learnt and read about do not have linseed oil. But my teachers, Filip Davidov and Olga Shalamova, use linseed oil in their gesso, and I think what I heard Philip say was that it is 8 tablespoons per litre. Now I have made a batch with linseed oil, and I've prepared panels, not this kind of panel, but for other artists that I paint with, and we provide panels for beginners. And I did add the linseed oil, and the quality of the gesso is significantly different in that it doesn't feel chalky. It's certainly more solid. It's not pure white. It is a sort of a slight creamy colour. So that's what I'm going to do for these panels, but I need to work out how much what volume I've got here, so I know how much linseed oil to add. So I'm going to get that much water and pour it into a measuring cup. Same amount of water into a measuring cup. Look at the results, and there is 1 cup. So how many cups are in a litre? So let me ask someone who might know the answer to this. Siri, how many cups are in 1 litre?
The answer is 4.23 cups.
Thank you, 4.23 cups. Good. So, oh, you think so too. Good. Now, that means we only need about 2 tablespoons of linseed oil in this mixture. Stir this up, get it nice and smooth. I'm going to stir it a lot more, particularly with the brush. That really does make it nice and smooth and creamy. This is a good mixture. And let's add 2 tablespoons of linseed oil. Looks very yellow. And I will leave, because the oil rises to the top of this water mixture all the time, every time we load the brush we will need to give it a good stir. Start work. Stir that oil in. Bird, don't dare land on this or you're going to have gessoed toes. Another trick that I've done, I don't do it when I use the linseed oil because I don't think it needs it with this oil, but we've used oil of cloves, just a couple of drops in a mixture of gesso. Why? Because we want to eliminate all air bubbles, because air bubbles just rise to the surface on gesso and cause pinholes which you just never get rid of in the end product. But what I am doing is I am really giving this a thorough working into the into the cheesecloth, and this really helps to eliminate all bubbles. This then is the first of many coats, and we will leave that to dry. Now here's an interesting thing. I'd said some time ago that we choose the heart of the timber to be the face side of an icon, so that the grain runs like so. Because if the panel is going to warp at all, we want it to warp concave, not convex. And this, because it's got wet gesso on it, has put a bow in it, and the brace is really straining somewhat. I'm not troubled by this, because when the gesso dries and hardens, it's likely to pull it back straight again, which is another reason why having it to go concave rather than convex, because if it went convex on the other side and then pulled straight, it would bow even more than it has now. It's not uncommon for very old icons to have a concave bow in them, and it looks much better than a convex bow. Now, since the last filming, I have added a few more coats of whiting. I've also needed to mix, because I ran out, need to mix another batch of whiting, and we're just adding coat after coat. We're not waiting until it's completely dry, just so long as it is, shall we say, not shiny. So we can add another. We don't have to wait for hours for each coat to dry. We can do each coat within a fairly short period of time, say 10 minutes or so. But as the coats are going, more coats are going on, I'm also starting to use another tool to make the surface smoother. With the brush marks, it's not real smooth. We get it as smooth as we can with the brush. Flicked muck onto the other one. Oh dear. But we can with a plastic plasterer's spatula make the surfaces a bit smoother. It means then there's less sanding to do at the end, which is a good thing. And this is about the third or fourth coat, and there are probably another 3 or 4 to go at least. I'm not going to show all of them because that would be thoroughly boring, but just to say there is the process and the end process. And I do this, I don't sand them until I do them one at a time, just before I do a new icon. Reason being, if I did them all at once, I wouldn't give each one the care that it needs. Also, it's a job I don't like doing. That's probably the main reason. But just smooth these off with the brush, and now show you what happens with this spatula. Very lightly evens out, so the whole, the little dips and that were in the original routing process get evened out too. So that's probably enough for now, and the next time I return will be to paint a new icon. So thank you for watching this series. If you are not subscribed and want to keep following these diaries, please subscribe. It is free, and if you like what you see, let me know by clicking the like button. Don't worry about the not like button. I don't need to know that. If you've got a comment, I'd be interested, particularly if you do things a different way. I'm really happy to learn. Remember, these aren't tutorials. It's a diary of what I'm struggling to do. I try new things. I share those new things for comment. Don't get too many comments though. But see you next time.